Under a microscope, your mitochondria are plugged directly into the nucleus of your cells, not floating nearby, not in the general vicinity, docked, physically attached protein to protein like a charger pushed into a socket. That was published in Nature magazine in June of this year, and it overturned something that had been in textbooks for decades. Let me tell you what the old picture was because I believed it too. Mitochondria produce ATP. That ATP is released into the cytoplasm, the fluid filling the cell. It spreads out by diffusion, and any structure that needs energy draws on whatever is around it. Energy as a flood. Fill the room and every corner gets warm. That model worked well enough for a long time, and there was never a strong reason to question it because diffusion is fast over short distances and cells are small. But there's a problem with it that becomes obvious once you say it out loud. The nucleus is not just another corner of the room. It's the control center. It holds your DNA. It runs transcription, chromatin remodeling, gene regulation, and all the decisions about what the cell becomes and what it does. And all of that is expensive. Transcription costs energy. Rearranging chromatin costs energy. The nucleus is one of the most demanding customers in the entire cell. So the question the researchers asked was, does the most important destination in the cell really just rely on whatever happens to drift past it? The answer is no. Here's what they found. The nuclear membrane isn't solid. It's studded with structures called nuclear pore complexes. Those are the gates. Everything entering or leaving the nucleus goes through them, and they're highly controlled. Mitochondria attach to those gates. There's a protein on the mitochondrial outer membrane that binds a protein on the nuclear pore, and that interaction physically tethers the two structures together. Once they're docked, energy-rich molecules pass directly from the mitochondrion into the nucleus through the pore. Not diffusion, direct delivery. Now, how do you prove that's actually how the energy is getting there, and not just an incidental contact? The experiment they ran is the most convincing thing in the paper, and it's very simple to describe. They moved the mitochondria away. Not far. 500 nanometers. Let me put that in perspective. 500 nanometers is half a thousandth of a millimeter. A human hair is somewhere around 80,000 nanometers across. So they created a gap thousands of times thinner than a hair. And the nucleus's energy supply collapsed to almost zero. Think about what that tells you. If energy really did diffuse freely through the cytoplasm, moving the source half a micron away would change essentially nothing. Diffusion over that distance takes a fraction of a second. Instead, the supply failed, which means the delivery was never happening by diffusion in the first place. It was happening through the connection. Unplug the cable and the lights go out. Now, is this some obscure result from one lab? No. The study represents 8 years of work, 38 scientists, more than 10 institutions across several countries. And when they looked for these contacts, they found them in every cell type they analyzed. One of the senior researchers said he thinks this is important not only for the heart, which is what his group studies, but across all cell types with a nucleus. The team also did something careful that I want to highlight, because it's the difference between a suggestive result and a solid one. They engineered cells and animals in which the connection between mitochondria and nuclear pores was disrupted, while leaving the mitochondria's ability to produce energy completely intact. That's the crucial control. If you simply broke the mitochondria, everything would go wrong and you'd learn nothing. Instead, they broke only the docking, kept production normal, and watched what happened. The consequences were significant. Cells failed to mature properly into heart muscle cells. And in animal models, disrupting that interaction caused severe developmental problems. So the delivery route isn't a convenience. Production alone isn't sufficient. The nucleus needs energy arriving at that specific location, through that specific route, in order to do its job. There's a nice detail about how they found it, too. They weren't looking for this. The team set out to understand how reactive oxygen species produced by mitochondria were reaching the DNA in the nucleus. That was the question, and in chasing it, they found the delivery system instead. One of them described the result as bigger than what they'd gone looking for. All right, what do you do with this? Nothing. And I'll be straightforward about that, as I have been a few times recently. There's no protocol here. You cannot influence how your mitochondria dock onto your nuclear pores. It's structural cell biology, and there's no intervention on offer, from me or from anyone else. But I do think there's something worth taking away, and it's conceptual rather than practical. This is the second time in a week I've covered research pointing the same direction. A few days ago I talked about the mitochondrial network in muscle, where mitochondria are physically joined into a connected grid that conducts voltage across the cell, rather than each one independently supplying its neighborhood. Same lesson. Energy moves through dedicated structures, not by flooding the space. And now this. The most important destination in the cell has a private line, which means the mental model that most of this industry sells you is wrong at the root. You'll hear cellular energy talked about as a level, a tank, a reserve you top up where more is better and the goal is to fill it higher. That's not how any of this works. Your cells run on architecture, on connections, positioning, and delivery to specific locations at specific moments. Half a micron of misplacement shuts down the control center of the cell, regardless of how much energy is being produced. So when someone offers to boost your cellular energy, ask yourself what that would even mean physically, because production is only one part of a system where placement appears to matter just as much. Now, where my own recommendation sits, and it's narrow as always. CoQ10 is a carrier in the electron transport chain, the machinery producing the energy that gets delivered through these connections. Levels tend to decline as we age. That's a claim about production. Nothing in this study is about supplements. Nobody has tested one against these contacts, and I'd be contradicting the entire point of this video if I implied that taking something improves an architectural feature of your cells. If you want to support that machinery on its own merits, the link in the description below is an affiliate link to Mitochondrial, which is PQQ and CoQ10 with a 90-day money-back guarantee. And if you want a channel that will tell you when the useful takeaway is a better mental model rather than a protocol, subscribe. This video is educational only, and it's not medical advice.